Anatomy of skeletal muscle. Skeletal tissue is made of or formed by muscle fibers. Each muscle fiber are arranged in a sheath called as a fascicle. Bundle of sheath called as fascicle. Now each muscle fibers are covered by a connective tissue known as endomysium, and each fascicle is covered by a connective tissue known as perimysium. The group of fascicle are covered by epimysium. The skeletal muscles are 10 to 100 micrometer long, cylindrical, striated, multinucleated and voluntary muscles. They attaches to the bone via tendon and easily gets fatigued. Muscle fibers are covered by cell membrane called as sarcolemma. These are the one that fuses at each ends and forms the tendon. And these sarcolemma contains sarcoplasmic fluid. Myofibrils are the rod-like structures that run parallel to the muscle fibers. Sarcoplasm is a gelatin-like substance and contains dissolved proteins, and it fills the gap between each myofibril. Each myofibril contains two alternative bands. One is I, light band called as actin, A, dark band called as myosin. There is a myonucleus at the periphery. There is a Z disc between these A band and I band. Now transverse tubules are the extensions of sarcolemma. They pass laterally through the muscle fibers and are interconnected. They form a muscle triad with transverse tubule, terminal cisternae and the myofibril. This sarcoplasmic reticulum is known to store calcium ions, and these are longitudinal networks of transverse tubules that runs along the myofibril. Then we have sarcomere. Now sarcomere are the structural and functional and contractile unit of skeletal muscle. The single myofibril has many sarcomeres. These extends between two Z lines of myofibrils and contains one half of I band, one dark A band and one half of I band. As you can see here, half of I band, one A band and another half of I band. So there is an M line, there is O zone, there is H zone. Thin actin filament surrounds 3 myosins and the thick myosin filament surrounded by 6 thin filaments. As you can see here, we have myosin that has 6 polypeptide chains. There is 2 heavy chain and 4 light chains. 2 here, 2 here. And this is the globular portion, the head, that is heavy meromyosin. This is the tail, fibrous portion, the light micromyosin, which is 1 millimeter long. So on the head of the myosin, there is a ATP binding site which contains ATPase inside. And there is an actin binding site for the actin to attach. Now we have to note that until the ATP is there on myosin, it cannot bind actin. Next up, actin is a thin filament, as we all know, is arranged in a double helix form. There is a globular actin that undergoes polymerases with magnesium and forms F-actin. This is the F-actin. These are the troponins. So basically actin has proteins. They are F-actin, troponin and tropomyosin. So F-actin is the contractile protein. Troponin and tropomyosin are the regulatory proteins. Troponin on the other hand has ITC. That is, I stands for where that inhibits actin-myosin binding in the relaxed state. T whereas attaches the tropomyosin. C is for the calcium to bind. Now we have to note that troponin and tropomyosin masks myosin binding site in actin and it doesn't let the actin meet the myosin.